Okay guys, as promised, my new favorite way to make chicken Alfredo. This one is so easy. It is all in a pan, it bakes in the oven, and it is amazing. It took me a while to get this sauce stabilized so it doesn't separate, but as you can see, there's no separation, no grease coming up above the cheese. It is perfectly made to cook in the oven and to wow anybody that tries it. Can't wait for you to see this recipe. A special thank you to Wild Grain for sponsoring today's video. If you haven't heard of them, they're the first ever bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, artisanal pastries, and fresh pasta. It makes breads so easy. I'm gonna open this up and kind of show you what I've got here. And everything comes frozen, goes straight in your freezer. Got me a sourdough loaf, some sourdough mini baguettes, some Parmesan herb biscuits, some fresh pasta. Big old thing of their butter. We'll definitely use that. Some chocolate chip cookies, big giant chocolate chip cookies. And what I'm gonna make today, some croissants. But I'm gonna cook these croissants real quick and show you just how easy this is. Just gonna roll me out some parchment paper. Line my croissants up. And all of my instructions are right on the back of the card. So let's slide these in the oven. I could spend so much time hunting for good quality bread and pastries, but now Wild Grain makes it easy. I don't even have to plan ahead. Everything goes straight from the freezer to the oven, and the results are better than what I was buying before. And these are looking so good. And literally, I want to crack that so bad. You can tell it's just so flaky, so perfect, better than any croissants I've ever made. I'm gonna drizzle these with a little bit of brown honey butter. Whether you love classic sourdough, gluten-free goodies, or plant-based options, you can build a box that fits your taste perfectly. Wild Grain has seriously upgraded how we enjoy bread and pastries at home, and I love knowing that I'm supporting small bakers and responsible sourcing. Now here's the deal. You can try Wild Grain today and get $30 off your first box plus free croissants for life. Just head to wildgrain.com/Bates and use my code BATES at checkout. That's $30 off plus free croissants for life. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with is my 3 eggs and my buttermilk. Go ahead and dump that out. Put my eggs in here. And you can see the full chicken making process on my first video I ever made, the chicken Alfredo, or you can skip this part and use your favorite blackened chicken, shrimp, any other kind of chicken you want to use. You can even shred a rotisserie chicken and just straight into the penne before you bake it and make it that way. Lots of easy ways to make it, lots of ways to make it easier, but this breaded chicken is our favorite. And I'm gonna go ahead and trim these up real quick and cut them in half and pound them down to about 3/8 of an inch. Before I drop my chicken in here, I'm going to add a little salt and pepper because we salted every step. Again, I'm just pounding these to make them even and about the same size. Now we're going to lightly salt our chicken. A little pepper if you want it, you don't have to. Do a little hit of Tabasco as well. Now it will be kind of a thick mixture there. You can use a little pickle juice, a little vinegar, a little Tabasco. I like Tabasco, it adds just a little tiny bit of flavor. You're not really gonna notice a ton of the difference. We're just gonna submerge all these pieces in here. Get them done in there real good and coated. And these are gonna sit while we make our pasta. All right, so not a whole lot of prep here. Our chicken's in the refrigerator marinating in our solution. I'm gonna use my clove of garlic. I'm gonna get about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. Very similar to my original chicken Alfredo recipe, but this chicken Alfredo sauce is more stable. It'll bake at high heat without separating, which is what took me a little while to figure out there. I have some thyme. Michael, in her lasagna episode, turned me on to fresh oregano. That's not an herb plant that I had, so I'm going to be trying that in this one as well. So we'll get a little fresh oregano, a little fresh basil, of course, and that's going to be more, a lot of this we'll use in the topping, but we'll put a little in the sauce, and then I use dried herbs in the sauce as well. It's a little bit easier to keep on hand. You can absolutely substitute all of this for just a few leaves of fresh basil for garnish at the end, and a tablespoon of Italian herbs. the dried Italian herbs for the sauce. But I'm gonna add a little bit of fresh leaves to that sauce and see if it doesn't enhance a little bit there. Inside the sauce, no matter what else you put on the garnish, a little fresh basil on the garnish at the end, but a little fresh thyme in the sauce will make such a big difference, in my opinion. If you're an Italian, I apologize for what we have done to your food, but I will tell you, I did not call this an Italian dish. So hopefully you feel a little better about that. I promise you though, it still tastes great. I'm gonna chop my oregano just a little bit. I'm gonna loosely roll up my basil here. Last but not least, just gonna peel this garlic, and I'm gonna use my garlic press again on these, just because they're getting down in that sauce and it really isn't that huge of a deal. So now for the last part before we start our sauce, let's shred some fresh cheese. Two things. One, I'm going to use Parmesan because that gives it that flavor. But I'm going to use some mozzarella on the topping of this because that gives you that cheese pull. It's a great cheese to blend with Parmesan, but on top of it, it gives a great creamy taste and a wonderful texture to the dish as well. And then that cheese pull, when you dip your spoon in there and pull it and it's just pulling out there like a pizza, that just makes me even hungrier, to be honest. So a little bit of mozzarella, a little bit of Parmesan. You can also use Pecorino Romano. I'm out of that, I need to make another order. We're going to use about 2 cups of Parm. So it'll be about 1.5 of these wedges if you get the 12-ounce ones. That leaves you a little extra for the top in there as well. So first thing I'm gonna do is get my pasta water boiling. I'm gonna salt that real well. And if you wanna taste your water, it should taste about like the ocean. So our water's boiling real well. We're gonna add our pasta. And I'm adding about 16 ounces of penne. I don't have a press, so this is just box pasta. There's about 16 ounces of penne. I probably won't use it all, but I'd rather have a little bit extra. And we'll stir that up a little bit. And according to the box, this one cooks for 10 to 12 minutes. Now I'm gonna start right away on the sauce because I wanna get to that part where this is kind of simmering when I need to add the pasta water. So it you got to get it started in the right order or you're going to be sitting there with something waiting on something else. Now this is really similar to the last sauce I did. It uses a little less butter, and we're going to actually make a roux with this one, which will help a little bit with the stabilization. I'm going to press my garlic in here. Scrape that off. Now we're going to make our roux. Equal parts flour. Cook our flour for around 30 to 60 seconds here. I try to go at least a minute to get that flour really good and cooked. If you don't, you'll have a little bit of floury taste to anything you're making a roux with, whether it's gravies or mac and cheese or whatever else. Our garlic is very aromatic there. I think our flour is good. Let's add in some milk. You can add it in any order you choose. I generally add the milk first, just a little thinner. And you can see we're going to get clumpy here as soon as we start doing it. So I'm going to add in my cream and milk mixed. All those measurements there. Probably went a little fast with that, but oh well. We're going to have to whisk it really good now. Should have added that a little slower. It's hard to do on camera sometimes. You want to add your liquid to your roux slowly to keep it from getting clumpy like this, but we'll just whisk it all out. While this is simmering, I'm going to add my dried herbs. Then I'm going to add my fresh thyme and oregano in there. I'm going to whisk that in. Bring this up to a simmer and let it start to thicken a little bit. So we're going to drain our noodles real quick. Turn that back off. And I have got a strainer just set up over top of a bowl to catch my pasta water. The shallower water you boil your pasta in, the more starch you'll get in your water. That's the real trick you're wanting, is that starchy water. That's going to help our sauce a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and add a half a cup of this to our sauce. Now that we've added our pasta water, I'm going to go ahead and add in our cheese. And I'm going to start with some cream cheese. And this, I wouldn't normally use cream cheese, but in a bake, something that's going to bake in the oven, this is great to help keep it stabilized a little bit. Now, I haven't salted this sauce yet. And the reason I haven't added salt to this is because Parmesan cheese is salty and I don't want to over salt it. So we'll get going here and see how much we need once I add this Parmesan. Just want to blend this in really well before I move to the next handful so that it's not grainy or anything. Now, a little handful of our mozzarella. Use fresh grated mozzarella. Anything that you use, same with your Parmesan, anything that you use in these sauces that is pre-shredded is gonna have the cellulose stuff they put on there to keep it from clumping, and it's not gonna mix well in your sauces. And you're gonna wonder why you aren't getting the texture that you want out of your sauce. And that's gonna be why. Let's try our Alfredo sauce. So good. Now, I could put my noodles in here and toss them in my pan, but I'm gonna do it an easier way because it's going in the oven anyways. So here's the casserole dish I'm gonna use. I'm gonna take my remaining butter and butter my pan real well. Break in my penne. Pour in my pasta. My Alfredo sauce, not my pasta. Pasta's already in there. Now I'm gonna stir in my penne with the sauce, mix it with the Alfredo sauce. And the great thing is these noodles are hollow. So they're gonna soak that sauce up inside. They also have ridges, so they're going to have that sauce coated on the outside. This has plenty of starch from that pasta water, so it's really gonna soak into these noodles. And after they bake, this is going to be, honestly, I don't know that I'll ever make chicken Alfredo any other way again. This is so good and it's so easy. Now, we're just going to lightly cover with a little Parmesan. And then we're going to a little bit heavier coat with our mozzarella. We just want a good even coating all the way around. If you are using a rotisserie chicken that is shredded, or if you have sauteed or blackened chicken and you want to mix it into the penne to make it just a one-stop, easier meal to cook, this is where you would do it. It would be right before you add this cheese. You could either layer it on there, then sprinkle your cheese on top, or you could mix it into the penne and then layer the cheese on top. But you're gonna put any way that you're gonna do it with any chicken in the actual penne to make it a one-stop, go in the oven, come out ready to eat meal. You would put that on before the cheese, layer with the mozzarella, slide it in the oven. If you were doing it the way I do it, because I really like that crispy breaded chicken, we're gonna slide this in the oven, and then we're gonna come up on the stove top and we're going to fry our chicken to layer on top after it comes out. So our chicken Alfredo penne is in the oven. Now is the time I do my breaded chicken because I like this stuff to sit on top. This is just a typical 3-station chicken. I've got my seasoned flour over here, and I'm going to go into my flour and get both sides really well. Then I'm gonna go back into my egg wash and brine. And then I'm gonna go into my shaggy breading, the panko. If you want to see the full recipe for this, as always, it's in the description, but also the full video of the chicken. This is the same chicken I use with my regular chicken Alfredo. You can see that in the very first video I ever made, and you can also hopefully see how far we've progressed since then. Still got a long ways to go, but learning a lot. Wow, that is beautiful. Just love that shaggy Parmesan coated breading. I have found though that starting in my egg wash before I do anything else really does enhance, I think, the breading I get on this chicken. Going from the egg wash that it sits and kind of brines in. If I'm making another breaded chicken, I may add pickle juice to it, or with my wings, I may add some buffalo sauce. Lots of different options with the egg wash mixture, but it does help, really help that breading to stay stuck to the chicken, which is a big thing for fried chicken. And also to just give it an amazing crunch and softness there. Don't be afraid to make multiple batches of chicken. My kids would have me make extra of this and eat the chicken 2 or 3 different days, even though this is not my normal fried chicken. It's got a very, to me, it's perfect for my Italian dishes, but it's very different from what I would think Southern fried chicken would be. It's amazing. It makes an amazing chicken caprese as well, which I happen to love. We should probably do that one sometime. I would say if you were doing 3 or 4 chicken breasts, I would probably add an extra egg to your egg wash. This turned out perfect for me, and I did 2. Sometimes I get away with 3 if they're smaller, but don't be afraid to add you an extra egg there. A little squirt of buttermilk to your mix if you're doing a little more chicken. And there's our last 3 pieces. Let's clean this mess up and go over to the oven. So our Alfredo penne is in the oven, and now is my favorite part. It's time to fry some chicken. And being from the South, I'm pretty sure that we can fry something with about any meal you can cook. I'll drop a little Crispies in there and they start to bubble, so this oil is preheated and ready to go. Let's lay some chicken in it. I'm not going to overcrowd my pan because it's still warming up here and we don't want to overdo it. About 2 minutes on each side here. Now I don't mind to flip the chicken a couple extra times, but I do mind to burn my breading. So I will err on the side of once it start getting a little bit brown, flip it and then come back and we'll do it again if we need to. The biggest thing to watch for when you're frying chicken is you don't want your oil temp too high and you don't want it too low. If it's too low, you're not going to get that browning and that crispiness on your crust, which is really what you're excited about right there, is that golden brown crispiness. And if you're too high, it's going to brown before your chicken is done on the inside. So kind of watching your oil temp, you want it to take about 2 minutes with a thinner piece of chicken like this. You want it to take about 2 minutes to brown on the outside there. If it's taking about that long, then you're good. If it is browning faster than 2 minutes, add yourself a little cool oil, lower your temp, and go ahead and flip it because it'll cool down. You'll just have to flip it more frequently to keep it from burning. I normally try to check, just flip an edge up and check, or watch the side. If you have deep enough oil, you can watch that browning coming up the side. You can kind of see if it's taking the right amount of time or not. If it's starting to brown really quick after you put it in there, you want to reduce that heat quickly. Go ahead and flip that piece of chicken and kind of start over with some cooler oil there on that piece. There we go, our last piece is coming off the oven. So we'll let our chicken cool for just a minute here, and we're only about 7 minutes away from our Alfredo penne coming out of the oven. So I'm gonna take my chicken, I'm just gonna slice it. This chicken, I just want to show you a piece of it. It is so perfectly crispy. I mean, you can hear it on my mic. It's perfectly crispy. The breading is perfectly attached. So if you look at this chicken, it is perfectly crispy, perfectly golden. Listen to this. And you can hear that on my mic. The breading is staying attached. It's got the perfect flavor to it. The chicken is one of my kids' favorite parts, so I will generally give them a spoonful of the Alfredo, whether I make it this way or the other way, and put it straight, put 1 piece of chicken on each kid's plate with their Alfredo. Just slide my knife up under it and set it up, set it where I want it. But our chicken is sliced. Let's get a piece of this plated up to try. All right, it's the time I wait on for each episode. The most important part is the taste test. Does this taste as good as I say it tastes? And it is the moment of truth. Here we go. 100% the best and easiest chicken Alfredo penne I've ever made. You are going to love it if you're anything like me. If you've loved anything else I cook, this is going to blow your mind. And it's so easy, even I can do it. The thing about it is just how that penne pasta is just bursting with cheesiness inside of it. Even Scout agrees, if you heard him in the background there. But this is just loaded. It is the cheesiest, creamiest, best flavored chicken penne I've ever had in my life. I can't wait for you to try this. 100% you're going to thank me later.